talking about this damned Warner Brothers deal. 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago, Netflix was going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Then Netflix walked away after Paramount put in a new bid. And now Paramount, a company whose stock has dropped nearly 20% in the last 6 months, is trying to pick up where Netflix said, screw this. And yesterday, here's why this kind of came up again. Ratings agencies on Wall Street just downgraded Paramount's debt level to junk status. You've heard the term like junk bonds and things like that. They have now been downgraded to junk status on their debt. And in an all hands meeting, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav basically told his own employees that the deal might not even close. And hey, if it doesn't, we get $7 billion from Paramount and we get back to work. His words, not mine. So let's get this straight. The buyer's credit is deteriorating. The seller CEO is already saying like, yeah, this might not close. That's completely new for a merger. So here's what junk debt rating actually means. Let's start there. Think of it like your personal credit score tanking right before you apply for a mortgage, right? Suddenly the bank's going to want much higher interest. The terms of the loan are going to get worse, and the whole deal gets more expensive before it even closes. Now apply that to a company trying to spend $111 billion, which is what Paramount's upgraded bid is, on an acquisition. For context, Disney spent $71 billion on Fox, and at the time, everyone thought they overpaid. Paramount's entire Wall Street market cap right now is $13 billion. They're trying to spend roughly 9 times their own value on a deal that Wall Street just flagged as risky. That's not a good strategic move. That's a Hail Mary. Now moving on to Warner Brothers. Here's what makes Zaslav's comments so telling. CEOs don't just walk around going, this deal might not close, to their own employees unless they mean it. That's not a negotiating tactic. That's damage control. You say that when you're prepping to give people different news, not when you're confident that this deal's going to get done. The fact that he immediately followed it with, and if it doesn't, we get $7 billion, tells you everything. Warner's leadership has already mentally moved on to plan B. And this is where it stops being just a Paramount story and starts being a Hollywood story. We talked about Disney and Fox and Warner Brothers and Paramount. The entire industry bet on consolidation as the answer to streaming's brutal economics. Merge, cut costs, get bigger, survive. But that strategy only works if you can actually afford the mergers. And right now, the financial reality is catching up with their ambition. If this deal collapses, it won't just hurt Paramount and Warner Brothers. It will signal that the consolidation wave has hit its ceiling and nobody in Hollywood has a plan C. Jay, Zaslav's already talking about an exit ramp. Paramount's credit is in the toilet and the numbers are not adding up. Here's the question I actually want your take on. If this falls apart, who's circling? Because someone is going to pick up the pieces. And the names that come to mind, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, they have the cash to do whatever the hell they want. Is the real story here not whether Paramount succeeds in buying Warner Brothers, but who ends up with it when this whole thing falls apart? For example, if Paramount goes bankrupt before or right after the acquisition. So what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would love for Apple to buy it. That's something that I think you and I both agreed. We would love Apple to buy it. And these things are tricky. Not entirely apples to apples, but like if you recall, back when we were younger, in 1969, there was that whole like Ferrari was going out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Ford was trying to buy them. Ford was very committed to buying them, and then Fiat came in and actually they did a deal with Fiat instead, who at the time I believe wasn't even on the books to buy Ferrari. Like a little bit of a different circumstance, but these things are kind of tricky. So it's no telling. I can't say that I'm like losing sleep over Paramount possibly not going to get them right. Like oh no.
We've talked ad nauseum about why we didn't want Paramount to get Warner Brothers. There's a lot of very obvious reasons that Paramount getting Warner Brothers was a bad idea. Bad for the entertainment industry. And I was actually, based on what Ted Sarandos was saying, I liked what he was saying about Netflix's acquisition. He was saying, look, HBO still going to be there. We're not running it different, right? We're going to leave Warner Brothers alone. We're buying this because we don't have a distribution network and we need one, right? There's not a lot of overlap between Netflix and Warner Brothers, so we don't have to lay a whole bunch of people off. One of the things that downgraded their junk bond rating is Paramount's deal with Warner Brothers said they thought they were going to find $6 billion a year in cost savings, right? The analysts downgraded it because they think it's actually closer to $16 billion, because they're going to have $79 billion in debt if this goes through. And I don't know how that's sustainable for them. I mean, you're rolling through your MBA. Do you think that that's a sustainable debt load, especially given what Paramount's got on the books right now?
I mean, I don't understand this like market to be completely, to me, I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't sound right, but yeah, I'm also like not an expert in this market at all. So I would say like gut feeling, no, what the hell? But
I mean, obviously Wall Street thinks it's a bad bet.
Yeah. And that should be like your kind of North Star, I guess.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I wonder if this deal is going to go through, because we talked about this on a previous episode where in this process, Paramount's kind of had investors kind of in and out, in and out, in and out, banks in and out, in and out, in and out, trying to find somebody who's going to help them finance this deal. And now that Wall Street has said, look, this is junk, right? We're downgrading you to junk debt. I wonder how many of the people who were talking about financing Paramount are going to walk away now. And what's funny, and this kind of goes back to our Iran war coverage, they were pulling in a bunch of cash from the Gulf states, right? From the Gulf Arab, like all the oil producing Gulf Arab nations. I wonder if they're going to back out now too, because they got other stuff they need to spend their money on.
Like what?
You know, rebuilding their infrastructure that's currently being bombed.
Yeah. Priorities.
So yeah, either way, I don't think this is shocking. Again, even if Paramount gets the deal done, right? You still have to have enough free cash flow to service the debt, right? Let alone make new movies and new projects, right? So how long is it before Paramount just folds? And again, Netflix was willing to pay 80-something billion. If Paramount closes this deal, and maybe this is Sorrento's playing 4D chess, maybe this is the guys over at Netflix going, look, you guys think you can spend $100 billion on this thing? Fuck it. Go ahead. And then when you go under, we'll just buy both for less than we were going to spend originally, because it will be worth nothing at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a solid strategy. I would say at that point, they would probably have some competition, hopefully from like Apple, but come on, Apple. But yeah, like we don't have to spend all this fucking money. Like take on all the debt, and then we'll just buy both of you when you fail.
When you go bankrupt.
Yep.
See you later. F you, goodbye. You know, that's the thing to me about this. Yeah. Any last thoughts on this particular one? Again, we'll keep following the story, but yeah, Paramount getting traded down to junk. And again, actually, this will be another one too for the last one before we go. When you hear about Zaslav's comments coming from Warner Brothers going, if the deal doesn't close, they pay us $7 billion. So we just go back to doing what we were doing. Like, that to me was the one where I also went, what does he know? And he said this in an all hands for Warner Brothers. This wasn't like a private conversation. This was to every employee in the company. Might not work. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, not every employee in the company, because not every employee in the company go to all hands, because I have like better shit to do than to listen to your fucking mumbo jumbo of how you're trying to fucking fluff your numbers and make me feel like my job's not at risk for your horrible fucking financial decisions. No, I will focus on my shit that I need to get done so I can leave at a reasonable time.
Yes. Anyway, but yeah, do you think that Zaslav's comments hint to something else?
Yeah. I do agree that you don't just make comments like that in an all hands just to, I don't know,
just to say it.
Yeah, just to say it. That's especially not like, yeah, if you were a startup, right, and you have some CEO that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, like, sure, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, you don't. People like business people do not just like make fucking comments like that to the entire company just talking shit. Like I don't know.
I suppose we'll find out. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments below. You think this deal's going to get done, or do you think it's toast before they even get really out of the starting gate? Let us know.